Okay, welcome everybody. Thank you so much for coming. And I want to especially make a special thank you to Rabbi Mendel Erentroi. I think it's Zaporozhye, Ukraine. Did I get that right? Zaporozhye. And I want to thank all of you for coming. And I know it's a hard time, middle of the day, but we felt that it was necessary to get, as we said on the flyer, facts on the ground. I'm going to have we have the special honor of having Rabbi Mendel Erentroy. He's also a little bit of a relative. He married I think my second cousin. But we're very excited to hear what he has to say about what's happening in Ukraine and the wonderful work that they're doing there to help with the crisis. Rabbi Mendel, I think we'll start off first with a capital Tillim, right? We'll start with some Psalms, and we'll also do, if everyone has a little charity next to them, a charity box, it's a good time. Do you want to give a little charity? Torah, Tefillah, Tzedakah, you want to do all three things. You want to do charity, you want to learn a little Torah, which we'll do that soon, and you also want to have a little Tefillah, which is prayer. So start with a little charity and give it to your tzedakah boxes. And just want to also let you know that we already put the link if you'd like to take part with the good work that they're doing down in Ukraine. The link is in the chat box. You can go to the chat box, and I already placed there the link for the charity and the good deeds that are happening in Ukraine. Okay, so let's start off first with chapter 20, all right, Kapitel Chaf. We'll say it together. I'll start off, and then we're going to have our featured speaker, Rabbi Erentroi. So also, we'll say it verse by verse, and everyone will repeat afterwards. Lam Natseach Mizmor LeDavid.
Natseach Mizmor LeDavid.
Yan Chadin Eviam Tzara Yisagevcha Shem Yaakov.
Yan Chadin Eviam Tzara Yisagevcha Shem Yaakov.
Yishlach Ezracha Mikodesh Umitzion Yisadeka.
Yishlach Ezracha Mikodesh Umitzion Yisadeka.
Yitem Lecha Chovavecha V'chol Atzazecha Yimalei.
Yizkor Kol Minchasecha V'Yalaseh.
Niranina B'Shuasecha V'Shem Eloheinu Nidgal Yimalei Adonai Kol Mishalisecha. Atadaiti Kaishia Adonai Mishicha Yanehu Mishmei Kacha Bigavurai Yesha Yamina.
Recording in progress. Recording in progress.
Eila Veracha Veila Vasusim Banach Mishim Adonai Eloheinu Nasker.
Eila Veracha Veila Vasusim Banach Mishim Adonai Eloheinu Nasker.
Hema Karav B'Nafalu Banachnu Kamnu B'Nasoida.
Hema Karav B'Nafalu Kamnu B'Nasoida.
Adonai Haishia Hamalech Yaminu V'Yom Kareinu.
Haishia Melech Yaminu V'Yom Kareinu.
Okay. I also want to thank Rabbi Nochum Erentroi. I think he just got on, senior or Erentroi senior. Oh, there you are. And then if you can unmute yourself. Okay. So I guess Rabbi Nochum, you want to start first, or Mendel, you want to start first? And I'm gonna go through some pictures. I know you sent me some pictures. Let's do a quick presentation for you on the slideshow, so people can get an idea of what was happening. So there's Rabbi Mendel in the beautiful Beit Chabad, the Chabad house in Ukraine, and he was telling me of stocks of food that they were storing before the war actually broke out. They knew that they had to gather provisions. Here's their beautiful Chabad house. Looks like the base of Mikdash a little bit over there. All right, looks beautiful. This is the inside of the synagogue in Zaporozhye. Here's more provisions. Some more. Here's water. And here is business link for if you'd like to take part of this wonderful effort that they're doing down in Zaporozhye, and to help out with all the wonderful assistance that they're offering the community down there. Okay. Without further ado, I'll stop the share over here, and we're gonna focus on. So, Mendel, you going first, or Nochum's going first?
Yeah, I could go first of it if you want.
Okay, fine. Yeah, take it away.
Okay, so let me tell you a bit about the city. First of all, wanted to greet everyone. Thanks for coming, and I will tell you about a bit about the city and what's going on now. So our city of Zaporozhye, is located in the southeast of Ukraine. It's close to the place where 8 years ago started like a separatist place. And right now, our community, a lot of people have to evacuate because of the situation. Everything started last week. I was woken up in the morning, like 6 a.m., 5 a.m. I think around between 5 to 6 a.m. in the morning, Thursday. With it actually, sorry, not this Thursday, 2 weeks ago, Thursday, early morning. We were woken up by bombs. We heard a very loud explosions in the city. We knew that there were Russian forces a lot of them on the border, but no one thought it's going to be getting a full invasion. And woken up in the morning, we opened right away the news to see what's happening. And we saw that most of Ukrainians' army infrastructure, airports were bombed by the Russian Air Force. And basically the war started. Tanks are starting to move into the borders of Ukraine, and the invasion basically started. Right away, a lot of people were in big panic because they didn't know what to do. It's all started not from one side, it started all over from all the borders of Ukraine and Belarus. We even invited like around 25 people to my parents' house to stay there to sleep. The basement of the shul started to become like a bomb shelter, and we prepared a bit also food and accommodations before, but that day we had to increase everything and buy more essential things, bread, water, sugar, wheat, and etc. So people started to get panic, and we started to see what could we do. We obviously supported them in spiritually, and also in material, everything they need in food. And people, whenever we had like sirens on the street, so people came from all over to the basement of the shul and to hide, and we Baruch Hashem helped them. We also spoke to them and tried to see well, how could we help them. Then the week after, it got even worse because in the beginning they just claimed that they just will be fighting against the army, against the army infrastructure, but it came out in other cities also that they started to sending missiles on the civilians and on the civilian buildings and hospitals, schools. There's even one school city next to us, Jewish school, that was harmed because of this. And we started thinking seriously more about evacuation because really needed to react somehow, because if not, it could be getting very, very dangerous. And Baruch Hashem, last week we started the evacuation Wednesday morning, and everybody arrived only just on Friday afternoon before Shabbos. We arrived it was a very long trip. We had to take a very long train. We're not able to turn on the lights even on the train, because if they see lights, they could send a missile to the train. It's very dangerous. Came to the other side of Ukraine, city called Lvov or Lviv. From there, we took another bus to the border of Europe and to city Budapest. And from there, we already took flights to a different location. Mostly people went to Eretz Yisrael, to Israel. And Baruch Hashem, they arrived like 2 hours before Shabbos, safely on Israel. That's in 2 words what happened. I'm sure my father could also add some words about the community and more interesting details.
Thank you very much. Rabbi Nochum, you want to add a few words?
The microphone, Mike.
Mike.
Yes, I want to add what my son Mendel did not mention about the occupied places. The cities around us in the region. My son became a rabbi in a city called Melitopol, and also a city called Bryansk, which the Russian authorities already occupied there. And we don't think, one of the reasons which the Russian Federation said that they're making the war is because of they want to take out the Nazism from Ukraine. And unfortunately, they're making another Nazism, because they're coming to a city and it's becoming a big chaos. I just finished talking, we had a Zoom with a lady which lives in Melitopol. She works with us for many years, and she told me currently the situation is this following. There's no food in the stores, unfortunately. When they came in, I mean the Russian, they made a big house. They were stealing and grabbing the stores and the banks, and it's impossible to gather something, and people are very big dangers, because if anyone opens up his mouth, he's speaking or he's looking not the same way they should be, they can shoot him, and they're shooting. And they started to put on just the Russian television to turn on any Ukrainian. They told the Ukrainian populations that we are just saving you from the occupant, from the Ukrainian authorities. But they are doing much, much worse. It became like a dictator inside the city. And as for now, you cannot buy any product just in the market. And you have to buy just by cash, because the bank system is not working. And there's no banks working bichlal. And also, it's a big, big danger. We have to all pray. We started with a prayer that now the products is running out, even from the warehouses. We're trying now to buy as much we could, just basically products like flour, sugar, and some other coffee, tea, which I think in a week or 2 or 10 days won't be any more products there. And the Russian did not bring new ones. And they are now preparing to attack our cities of Zaporozhye and also as well Dnipropetrovsk. it's a big miracle that we did not think about it before in the beginning, that the Ukrainian army will be fighting against such a big army. And it's not a fair war because they have much more soldiers, and as the Ukrainian, I mean. And the problem is that the world, the outside world, which now is the Democrats, you can open, it's impossible to report anything from Ukraine. They don't let anything, whatever we have resources, which we hear news, just from the first eyes or the people which they're seeing, or they're taking a telephone and they making some movies and they bringing out. Besides that, there's no real numbers, how many thousands of Ukrainian soldiers passed away or being shot. And for sure, also from the Russian side also got a lot. And they brought also a lot of Chechen. It's like a gorilla. It's a very, very dangerous soldiers. And it's not, it doesn't look like it's going to be finished. Near Zaporozhye, there's atom weapon, place called Energodam.
Nuclear plant.
And there was a big fight and during the war. And almost if there was an explosion there, it's not just in Zaporozhye and Ukraine will be messed. It will be all Europe can mess because it's a very big danger place. And the Russian occupation wanted to take over the major places where could be problems all over Ukraine, not just Ukraine. And we are afraid now, actually, what we do now, we evacuate people from the city towards the other side of Ukraine, to the border, Slovakia, Poland, or Lvov, and some other borders which are around here, to take them over. Those they want to go to Israel, they're going to Israel. Those they don't want to go to Israel, they're staying either before the border, which in Lvov, in Uzhgorod, the mountains of Karpat. It's much more quiet here. And those they don't want to go to Israel, they're staying in the other side of Ukraine or the other side of the borders. But to explain, it's very hard. The borders is so much, they never got used that for tens of thousands of people will be there. And you have to wait for hours. There's no food. So when there's a war, there's a few aspects. It's a war, and then there's a problem with the humanitarian aid, how to get to people food. And I think that this war shouldn't be, there's no reason for after 2 years suffering by corona to have such a war, and people should be moved to Poland, hundreds of thousands. It's no need war, bichlal. But even there's a war, should be a different rules like a war. They're using the powerful and the much powerful, they're giving and the bombing from not just from guns. And we're all very, very afraid for our brothers and sisters in Ukraine. I'm talking now not just about the Jewish population, which is a few hundred thousand, about Bichlal Ukraine, all over the civilians of Ukraine, because the next stage, I'm not sure, and we don't mix into the politics of the war, but it looks like if it's not going to go, if the military cannot go into the big cities, they will take planes and knock down, as he made in all the airports of Ukraine. And may Hashem help us, help everyone. Many people asking around the world what we can do for such a war. So as many times the Lubavitcher Rebbe taught us, that when there's such a situation, we have to we have to put more effort in Torah, to learn more tefillah and davening, to learn another chapter Tehillim, and also tzedakah. Everyone, I'm sure, has in his home now is push tzedakah, should put tzedakah every day, and the benefit of the Jewish and not Jewish population, which going now in the war. For sure, there's also, we dealing with a campaign, and a lot of people give us help to evacuate. Any person which evacuates, it's like a whole world, because they're not, I'm sure after the occupation, until it's going to stay by the Russian Federation, it will take a while. and this while it will be very bad for all the communities. So you should know that there is possible to do in two fields, to buy products and to bring to everyone should have enough products. And before I left even the city, I was worrying about Pesach. So I was buying 200 kilo matzahs, hand matzah to have to the community, because Am is responsible. You know what it means to live in a community for 25 years, to raise their children. And just in a day and a night, they told you have to take yourself and just go away. It was very, very hard, deeply hard to get, we were so close with the community. It's like one unit family that you have to leave everything away and just to be from afar away from Zoom or by phones. We're working around the clock to be in the benefit, to help them to evacuate, and also many people need medication. So it's impossible to get medication, but we are working with those they have the supplies, and they're helping us to buy. So we all wish and hope that very soon, speedily, will come the redemption, and we will all see with Mashiach Tzidkenu in Eretz Yisrael, Eretz HaKodesh, and together with all of you, all the Jewish people from all over the world, we will be together with Mashiach, and we will have a wonderful Chag HaPurim. Should be v'nehapachu asher yishlitu haYehudim eima b'saneim, and it should be speedily nowadays.
Amen.
If anyone has questions, if there's time, me and Mandy will be ready to answer.
Amen. Okay, so if anyone has any questions, you can type it into the chat box, and then I'll read it to the rabbi. One second. Rabbi Nochum, just a quick question. How many people would you say were in the community? How many people have left?
As for now, just a few hundred, because it's very hard to get even buses. It's not a matter, money is one issue, but there isn't a lot of drivers ready to make this trip. It's a trip about 35 hours. And each place you have to make stops. In the city himself, till you're getting to the end, the city of Zaporozhye is a very long city. You can go from one side to the other side about an hour and 20 minutes. So inside the city it takes a lot of time to get to and then you have to go to the other city. And the other city again, it's very, very, so therefore we couldn't be massive. There is a train, I sent you my son movie, which how many people is in a train which is supposed to be 2,000 people when 10,000 people. And it's dangerous because yesterday 6 people got killed, not killed, but they got so much pushed. And so people don't want to leave because it's impossible to leave. We have 1 million population. So even you take every day 10,000, it's not going to, unfortunately.
Oh. Yes. How big was the Jewish community in Zaporozhye?
In Zaporozhye, we had in the city about 10,000 people and another couple of thousand in the cities around us. But we had in the database which we connect with the community by basically daily or holidays, close to 5,000 people. Oh. So we have names and as for now, I think there's much more because we're getting phone calls from all over from many places. We're getting phone calls that people wanted to evacuate and people which we never saw in the community.
Right. Oh. You mentioned something about the nuclear reactor over there. What is the? What's the present situation with the reactor? Is it under control or no one really knows?
They're saying it's under control. But for sure, 100% we cannot know because there's many engineers and people. A lot of people work there. It's bigger than Chernobyl place.
Right.
And they right away when they occupied this, they called for the Ukrainian authorities. They should help them to how to manage it and so on. And as I wanted to also mention, it's not just a problem with the Russian Federation, with the Russian military, it's also with the Ukrainian military, is also very dangerous. I myself, I had a big miracle. we're giving out bombing. We're giving into the shul. There's a big bomb shelter, so we're giving out a few hundred people food every day. So the food is coming from the school. The school is located on the other side of the city. So that day was a Sunday when this week, I mean the past week. So I was traveling to the school to bring the school to do a kosher meal, and there's a mashgiach couldn't come, so I went myself. And when I'm coming back to the city, the last stop where they stopped me, they let me go. But in the right in by the last one, I was traveling and going. Right away, they were screaming in the mic, "Stop your car! Pull up your car!" And then I stopped, and I'm coming outside. There's a few soldiers from the military, from the Ukrainian, start to shoot. And the reason was because one of them was screaming, it was at night already, he was screaming, it looks that I look like a Chechen. There's a lot of Chechen, very aggressive soldiers. So they didn't say that I have no guns, and they were shooting, not on me, but near me. I was very, very afraid. And then they told me to lay down on the pole. And they took my hands and they was looking in my pockets if I have weapons or something. And there was a big miracle that I have my passport. I threw my passport to them, and I was screaming and crying and saying, I have a family, I'm the rabbi here, and I live here. Nothing was helping until I threw my passport, and someone saw the passport, said, "Oh, maybe this is from Israel. From Israel, let them live." Then they took me for investigation of the other side of the building where, and they asked me many questions. They took my phone to see who I'm talking to chat. And there was another guy came into the investigation, but for my big miracle, he knew me. That's the second person. So he came to me, hugged me, and told me, "How come, Rabbi, how you came here?" So I explained what happened. So he told me, "Rabbi, you have two options. Either you can stay home or in the shul. Either you should take off your beard because you look with your beard, and people now it's a war. You have to be very careful." But we did not left the city because of this. We left the city because I saw there's a small window and it's getting closer, closer. And right after we left the city, a few hours later was the city closed. So we had a big miracle. But right now, currently, they let evacuate people out of the city.
Wow. Someone asked over here, are there Jewish soldiers from the community that we should be davening for specifically by name?
From our city, there's one, his name is Moshe Ben Sar.
Moshe Ben Sar.
Which I know exactly is, he went to the phone. I don't know what's with him because we have no connections, but we're very afraid. Because, maybe there's some more, but I don't know right now exactly, but we should down basically that it should be all this should be finished.
The last question here is Israel paying for any flights? Like,
Israel is paying, that's also an issue. Israel, the Sukhnut is paying just for those that are making Aliyah to Israel. Those that are not making Aliyah, they're just coming, elderly people or people that they cannot do now Aliyah. It's not to be funded by Israel, just by fundraising money, which good people donate money for this. And it's a thing which I think it shouldn't be, because such a problem there, and the people, they cannot afford themselves to buy tickets.
wow, okay. I think that's it. Anybody wants to ask any more questions?
May Hashem give everyone good health and good news, and we should see each other in Beis HaMikdash.
Amen, amen. Okay, and I'm gonna post one last time. I'm gonna post the link, so people would like to help out and to send, as you said, either funds or food. It'll be sent towards there. I want to thank you very much and wish you only good things and simcha, and it should be when Mashiach comes, all the shuls are gonna as Hashem go to Eretz Yisrael.
Amen.
With the people. Okay, thank you very much. Shukran. Okay, yes, the link is
you,
posted
thank
right
you.
here, and feel free to use it. And I want to thank everybody for coming today. And we shall.
Could you also send the link in an email because what's posted disappears?
Okay. We'll do that. We'll send it around. We'll send it around. Okay, thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you.
Shukran, Mendi.
Thank you. See you. Have a good day, guys.